I really think it's like selfish human behavior to live with other people and still have like um messy ways to not clean up after yourself and to share a space with someone. It's selfish. It's inconsiderate because you're not considering how other people may interact in that environment, and you spread your mess expecting for other people to be okay with it. And not everybody is in that same mental capacity of disorganization and filthiness. Because realistically, as they say, the closest thing to godliness is cleanliness. And it's inconsiderate to take a standard of living and cause someone to lower their standard just so you can survive and you can be okay, instead of raising your standard to the standard. I think that's like so crazy. It's selfish, it's inconsiderate, and it shouldn't be tolerated. It shouldn't be made to be okay. It shouldn't be one of those things where you just have to accept me for who I am. And especially if it's been presented to you and you know that it creates conflict in an environment which could potentially be harmonious and peaceful, instead of correcting yourself, you justify or feel some sort of feeling like the person is attacking you, instead of looking at yourself and taking accountability and trying to do better for yourself. I think that's crazy. I think that's the most inconsiderate and selfish shit in the world. Instead of trying to like see yourself in a situation or see yourself in the other person's shoes and attempting to like raise your standard and raise your vibration, you take it as an attack and say fuck it and continue to do what you want to do instead of like doing what's right. I feel like if everybody understood the standard of things and just being considerate of others, and as far as keeping the peace and keeping the harmony in situations that things could flow properly, the world would be a much better place. Like, we wouldn't need certain things to govern our actions, especially if people just were considerate and not selfish, and people wanted to do better for themselves, and people, just staying in their lane, wanting to be the best version of themselves, wanting to do what's right and focus on the things that's right. Focus on oneself and not necessarily focus on, external circumstances, and just developing one's character. Like, this world, that's the solution to the state of the world that we're living in, is like people taking accountability and wanting to be a better version of themselves. Because when everyone steps up to that place of being a better version of themselves, there's no reason for anything other than everybody to be great and this world to be great. But everybody, and I understand, like, we can't even use the excuse anymore of like trauma and stuff like that, because if you notice that your life is constantly in conflict, you will have to like have that ounce of self-love to want to be better, for wanting it to be better, even if you got to start from the bottom. Like, that's not an excuse. There are no excuses, because even though everybody isn't dealt the same hand in life, everybody has the opportunity to play the game and still win, because we're in an abundant universe. So I mean, like, I'm just thinking, like, the solution to a lot of the world's problems lies within one's self. If everybody just took accountability to create harmonious conditions just by governing themselves and stepping up to a higher standard of being, everyone could be great. This world could be a better place. There wouldn't be any need for suffering. There wouldn't be any arguments like that. There may be disagreements, but it won't be like arguments and, negative interactions in that sense. Also, when you realize the only thing that you can control is yourself, and you can't control anybody else, and you start taking accountability and seeing you and removing yourself from things that causes you conflict, there wouldn't be any need for malicious behaviors. I know this in theory is easier said than done, but it's really not. Like, some people really do live this way. Some people really do live this way.